Welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be covering how you can change your photo from looking like this to this colorful, amazing photo. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do, I am in Lightroom CC. It's roughly the same process depending on what kind of photo editing software you use, but it usually is the same kind of concept of how you edit things. So going into my settings panel over here, we are going to go into the light section. So let's cover all these. We'll unfold them later, but just for now, we're going to leave them only on the light. So we're gonna up the exposure just a little bit. We're gonna up the contrast just a tad again. The highlights, bring them up. We're gonna bring up the shadows just a little bit. We might play around with those later on once we get more color into the photo. But as you can see, it's already looking much better than before. So we actually have the optics probably enabled. Nope. Okay, I don't know why it changed like that, but it's it's this right here. That, see, it's like that. I changed it. I just made some guides over here, some simple guides over here, but we are not going to do that. We're just gonna turn those off for now. And back in the light section, we are going to just raise the whites up a little bit, and we're going to bring down the blacks a little bit. Now we're going to open up the color panel, and we're going to make this a little bit warmer. Just a tad bit warmer. Maybe that's a little too much. -15 should be all right. And then we're going to do +10 on the tint, so a little more pinkish. You don't want to go too overboard, because you are going to make it look a little ugly, in my opinion. But you want to raise up the vibrance just a little bit, and the saturation just a little bit as well. You don't want to go overboard. And then we can adjust little colors individually, so you can go up to the purple. We can show that more purple is more saturated. We can show that the blue is a little bit more saturated or less saturated, more luminance to it. It'll make it a brighter color. And we can go to the pink and make the pink a little darker and more saturated and a little more towards the red. And then we can have also the red a little more saturated. There's before the color change and after. Let's bring down the color, defold the light and the color panel, go to effects. You want to go light on the clarity. You do not want to go overboard. See, it's a little weird, so just like bring it up to like a 10 or so for this image at least. Just like bring a little bit detail, even though that was out of focus, just a little bit of detail. Dehaze just a little bit up. We're gonna go down on the vignette, just kind of close those corners off and focus more on the center of the image where that is the best looking. And we can do split tones here, so let's go the highlights. Have the highlights more of a little reddish kind of color. Maybe we can do a blue on the highlights. I think that would look cool. A little blue on the highlights, maybe a little purple. Shadows, we can make those a little blue as well. And you can see the before and after. So that's after the tinting with the color tone. And then this is before, and this is after. So we can just leave those on. Details, we want to reduce the noise. As you can see me focused in on this train, there's a little bit of noise, so you want to decrease that with the noise reduction, and the color noise reduction will actually do a lot here. So do that, raise that up to like a 15 and a 20 or so. You do not want to make your image way too smooth, and you just want to sharpen that up by like a 6, and that should be good. So we're not going to do any of the optics or the geometry. The image looks good without it, but like I said before, we will go back to the shadows over here, and we will maybe tweak them around, maybe make them darker, maybe make them lighter. No, I think a little bit darker. Should lighter to what it was, but darker from before. So like a 10, yeah, 10 looks fine. And then from here, we can go to this turn curve, add a little more contrast, just add a basic S curve. Like that. Add that a little just contrast, and that's it. So that's before the contrast, and that's a little bit with more of the contrast. So now let's check out the image before and after our normal basic editing. So let's check. This is the before image, and then now this is what the image looks like. So it looks way better than before already. So now we can just go into auto, and there you go. The crop did it by itself, or you can do it manually, but it just depends on what camera you're shooting. If you shot RAW, if it's a JPEG, and if there's more information in it or if there's less. It all depends for the straighten if you want to do auto. And then here you can also change it to something else. So if you want to do a square Instagram post, you can do that. Or if you want to have a 4:5, stretch it to the corners like that. You can make it all sorts of fun things. So let's actually reset it. Maybe we can do a 5:7. Straighten that out automatically. There we go. There's our crop. Now we don't have that white anymore. We eliminated that, and now we have no more of that. So we can go into this linear gradient over here, and we can just add one more final touch. We can add just a little bit underexposed here. Just bring down the exposure, maybe -0.5. Bring up the contrast. Take a 30. Highlights down. Shadows down. So just a little hint of that. You do not want to go overboard, but that should be fine now. Just a little hint of it. You do not want to make it too big. We can stretch it out like that, but if you just make it like that, that looks just fine. So that is pretty much how you converted this image into looking way better and turning it into something like this. This is the final outcome of this image. It could be a little dark for some people's taste. I would maybe play around with the shadows and the blacks in the light panel. If you do want to mess around with all this stuff, maybe you can bring up the blacks just a little bit more. So maybe you should do -10, and it looks a little better. Or we can do the shadows. We can do 20%, 20 plus 20, and that will make it much different. So this is again the before, and this is after the editing. Some basic Lightroom editing will change up your photo and make it even better on the spice scale. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys learned a little bit about how you make an image transformation like this from here all the way to here. Hope you guys enjoyed again. See you guys in another video. Bye guys. Also, before you guys leave a comment down below on what kind of videos you guys want to see more of. Alright, bye guys.